Peace, AGG Nation. This is AGG, your average gun guy. And we are back with another live episode. Kind of impromptu. I know today is a holiday for a lot of folks. Probably won't even catch this live. It's okay. Hopefully, I'll get my co host on because last week we had a little hiccup where we couldn't get on our regular day. So hopefully, he can get on with me today. So let's see here. Let's see. But today's topic, guys, we're going to be talking about are America's borders safe? Are our borders secure? Um, you know, are we too lax on our borders at the at our northern and our southern borders? So we're going to get into that and talk about it in just a quick second here. Even if I can't get anybody on here with me, we're still going to go deep into that. I'm still going to talk about that. It's a great topic. I think it's very important and something that we definitely need to discuss. So hope everybody's doing good out there. Hope everybody has enjoyed their month of October, what some of us in the gun community like to call Glocktober. I know I did. I did some upgrades to my Glock, added a Radian afterburner and ramjet, uh, added a um, added a new light to it. Actually, I have the light right here. I hadn't put the light on it just yet because I need a new holster. I need to get a new holster for my EDC that hold that light. My current holster, which is a tier one access holster. It is designed for the light for a O light. So got to get that holster upgraded. Then I'll go ahead and get that dropped in. But yeah, definitely want to get some folks in here. Let me turn the chat on. Let me put the link in so you guys can join as well. Let me get that here. Invite, copy, boom. All right, let's go over to the chat. All right. So I've gone ahead and dropped the link down in the chat. Feel free to jump on in, chime into the conversation, and let's go. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. So while we wait for some people to join us here, again, guys, the topic that we're going to be discussing is: Are America's borders safe? Like, is our borders too lax? Is there enough security at our borders? And there's a reason why I'm asking this question. But I want to get some more folks here joining me before I dive into that. And if you want to join this conversation, feel free to hop right on in. I put a link in the description, so go ahead and jump right on in the conversation. Or I put a link in the comment section. Excuse me. Go ahead and jump right on in. All right. So if you guys have not been, if you've been living under a rock in the past, I'd say week or so, then you've definitely heard about the mass shooting that took place out in Maine, and it's an unfortunate tragedy, definitely unfortunate event that occurred and that took place. But something happened that made me think. It got me to really thinking about how prepared are we as a society to to deal with unrest, not only civil unrest in a mass amount where it's a mob or a group of people, but even with one person or with, let's just say, a trained group of people. Are we prepared as a society, or as a society here in America? Are we prepared to deal with that type of threat? So let's talk about it. If you guys recall, during that situation with the shooter in Maine, one gentleman was able to shoot a number of people, kill a number of people, and ultimately he was hunted down, and he was found near one of his residents or near one of his places of employment. He was found in a dumpster with a self-inflicted bullet wound. However, before he was found, there was a massive hunt. I mean, people were locked down. People were inside of their homes, not going outside, locking doors, locking windows, not going to work. People were staying home from school. I mean, it was a huge lockdown in that area while that manhunt, went on. So that brought me to it really got me to thinking. Like it got me to actually remember about a couple other different events that have gone on in this country where we've had shooters or we've had all right, there we go. Looks like we lost connection for a quick little minute. Look like we lost connection, but we're back. They can't stop us. Can't stop us. Look, once we get to cooking and talking about them good topics, you know we're gonna have problems. So hey, that's what it is. But we fight through that. So hopefully you guys can catch me back here and get back on. Um, hopefully I wasn't off for too long. Looks like I froze up for a couple of seconds there, but it's all good. Like I say, we are back. We're back in action. Yep, and we're live. Looks like everything is good and back up again. All right. So what I want to talk about, I lost my place, but basically, guys, what I want to talk about is there's been civil unrest in this country, whether it was the DC snipers or whether it was this situation that just took place in Maine with this one individual shooter. Now, this brings me to an important topic or an important something came, something became very apparent during the situation, and what that was is that we really aren't prepared as we think we are for threats of violence, especially when the perpetrators have any level of training or any level of skill. It seems that we are definitely up against we've got our backs against the wall and not fully prepared as we should be in a situation like this. Or I won't say should be. I mean, there's no way to fully prepare for this as a society. We can't get everybody to be exactly on the same page and everybody do the same thing. But we can definitely understand, what the threats are and kind of be on the same page, be on the same accord. So with that being said, guys, again with the DC snipers, how long were those gentlemen out? A man and his, I believe it was a stepson. How long were they across the DMV area shooting people, killing people without being caught? I mean, there was no clue on where these people were at, where they were hiding at. Same thing with this gentleman from this from some of the surveillance videos or that they've gotten on this guy. He definitely looked like he was trained. He was a firearms instructor, if I'm not mistaken. So he had some training. He knew how to handle the weapon. He knew how to shoot. He might even had some survival training. And what they were talking about is that the coastline of Maine, just Maine's coastline, is if it's all stretched out, it's the same border as it's the same distance as the United States border as far as the length or something like that. So my point is that this guy had a lot of escape options, a lot of places to hide, and this was just in one spot. This was just in one little spot in Maine. So imagine if this was a group. Imagine if this was not just one guy. Imagine if this was multiple perpetrators who decided that they want to enact these acts of violence simultaneously across different parts of the city or that community. Imagine that. Imagine the terror, literally, that would be in the people that are there, faced with all that. Because, like I say, just that one guy was able to lock down the community. So I hope that was an eye opener for everybody. That we have to really know our neighbors. We have to be a little more organized than we are. We can't take our security and our nation's security for granted. We have a lot of wilderness in this country. We have a lot of unsettled land. Actually, 47% of America is unpopulated. So we've got a ton of space out here. We've got a ton of hiding spots. Hold on, let me type into the chat here. All right, so yeah, we got a ton of hiding spaces here in this country. Lots of land, lots of wilderness, lots of forest, the jungle, desert. we've got it all. America is a continent that has or is a country that has all the different terrains, and especially in places like California, you've got coast, you got mountains, desert, jungle, all of that all in one spot. So we've got that all across the nation, and I say that to say this, guys. Listen, imagine if one of these armed groups decided to rise up against us as the U.S. citizens, not the government, but they decided that they want to go after the citizens. Are we prepared? Are we prepared? Are we prepared to actually deal with those type of threats? What happens if a armed group of 20 men, even a professionally trained group of 20 men who have camped out outside of a small town in America or mid-sized town, and they've been watching, learning the infrastructure, learning the ins and outs, learning how things go, and they decide to attack it. Just a group of 20 people strategically. They attack the police departments. They make sure that there's no reserve units or military reserve units around. It's all strategic, is what I'm saying. So they hit everything and they hit it hard, striking lots of fear very quickly, very rapidly. Are we prepared to stomach that? I know a lot of us out here are extremely like gun ho and like rah rah, like yeah, I wish somebody would come in here and attack my house or my country. A lot of people say that. Just like there's a lot of people that like growing up in life, as an adult, you shouldn't be so immature in your thought, but growing up as a teenagers, young adults, young men, you know, when men are full of themselves and have all that confidence and self pride and all that ego and testosterone is running high, you say things to yourself like, man, there's nobody that can whoop me. Can't nobody beat me. I wish somebody would try to do something, or I wish this would happen. Or, some of you newbies, new gun owners out there, you get your gun and, you watch, a few John Wick movies, you got your gun sitting on your lap and you're feeling good saying to yourself, yeah, I wish somebody would come through this door. Well, listen, if you have not been in battle or been in warfare, indeed. Yeah, if you guys have not been in battle or been in warfare, it is not pretty. It is not pretty, and it is not how TV makes it look. It's never comfortable. It's never, like, you guys ready to go to war? Okay, let's go grab our gear. Let's gear up. Let's put all of our gear on. Let's paint our faces. Let's grab a sack of Skittles to come with us and some, a couple bottles of, no, it's not like that. It's when danger and threat comes, yes, being prepared with those things is a good thing. But when danger and threat comes, guys, it comes like a thief in the night, so to speak. It's unexpected. It's in the blink of an eye. It happens very, very quickly. Wow, I just saw a video today on Instagram where it was I think it took place in New York City, if I'm not mistaken, and it looked like it was a guy standing in the hallway having like some type of dispute with I believe he lived in the building as well, so maybe one of his neighbors. So what I saw a woman, I saw her daughter, I saw a son, and then I saw a father who eventually was the one who came outside to address the situation. So when the father actually came out, he came out with a pair of scissors in his hand, like literally had a pair of scissors in his hand and walked up. And he was a pretty big guy, like he was a solid sized guy. And the guy that he walked up on was smaller in stature, should I say. He was a little pudgy, but smaller in height and stature, right? So the guy that had the scissors, he gets up on him, walks up on him, nudges him. He's got the scissors like literally right up on his face. And then his wife, or I'm assuming that's who that is telling him or is trying to pull him. And it's saying, I don't know what she's saying to him because there's no sound. So she's literally pulling on him, pulling him back. He turns back to look at her for a second, looks back at the guy, says something. His wife is still pulling on him. He looks back at her again. While he looks back, the guy who he was talking to pulls out a gun, turns on he turns on like a green dot and a green laser, should I say, and aims it right at the guy. The guy kind of like turned around like to retreat back into his house, but like he was walking like it's basically somebody saying, "Oh shit, I see somebody's got a gun. Let me get to safety. I'm not bulletproof." So that's what he did, but he did it very slowly. So the guy was so he turned around and started walking back towards his house. his family, his wife and his daughter were right at the doorway, and his son was kind of like outside of the doorway in the corner area. So again, the guy pulled out the gun, start shooting at the dad. He shot the dad once. The son ran and kind of like was trying to run out of the way, get out of the way, and ran in the direction of the shooter, but got pretty close. Right? I mean, it didn't matter. The shooter shot the son too. He shot the son like 4 or 5 times. The son fell down. He shot him. Boom. Then he walks over up to the dad who he had just shot, who was already laying there dying, and he, point blank range shot him one more time. Boom. Then, goes and pushes the button on the elevator, gets on the elevator. So, guys, there was a couple of different lessons that I saw there, a couple of different things that I need to, that we could have learned from. What up, Mario? What up? What up? There's a couple of different things that just that scenario alone like taught me, or they didn't teach me anything, but it just reminded me, and it should remind a lot of you people out here as well. Have these discussions with your significant other, whether it's your wife, your fiance, girlfriend, whatever it is. Have these discussions and have some type of awareness around these situations. Do not take for granted that everyone is going to know how to react or to respond when there's threats like this going on. So the first thing that I want to say is this: ladies, please stay out of men's business. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but that's what the men are here for. When it comes to defending and protecting and the security, unless the man is asking for your assistance with some security, please let him handle it. Let him handle it. Even trying to I don't say that, like, I'm not trying to tell you that to egg your husband or spouse on, or boyfriend, and say yeah, kick his ass, go get him. I'm not saying do that, but what I'm saying is you have to really be careful about grabbing them or restraining them, or trying to restrain them in any way, because you grabbing them, now somebody, even if they don't have a gun, boom, now they're gonna knock your husband out, knock your boyfriend out, because it's a split second. It only takes a half a second for this to happen. So again, why just like this scenario, when the guy turned around to talk to his wife, by the time he turned, I mean, it was that quick. It was like this, boom. Then the guy had a gun in his face. It's that quick. I mean, you ask yourself, how long does it take you to draw? From your holster. All right. Well, that's how long it takes for something to change, for situations to go from 0 to 100, or from good to crap, just like that. So you got to be prepared. You got to speak to your significant others. You got to be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what's going on. But hey, let's get back to the situation that happened in Maine, this tragedy that happened in Maine. And again, my prayers, thoughts, all that goes out to all the families and all the people who were affected by that tragedy, who lost their lives, and again, who were affected by that. It's not nothing to take lightly. But again, opportunities like this, or situations like this, give opportunity for discussions like this. Again, how secure are our borders right now? Right now, America is somewhat involved, like literally right in the middle of multiple world conflicts, as I'm sure you all know out there, as I'm sure you all can tell. Just my camera there. As I'm sure you guys all know and all can tell, there we go. Yeah, America is involving itself in a number of different conflicts, and it has been for quite some time. It didn't just start doing that. So as a former military man myself, I can say again, someone who's been all over the world, been around the world, I can say that America is viewed in multiple different lights by multiple different people. America, involves itself in situations that a lot of countries or groups of people, groups of people feel like America shouldn't be involved with. They feel like they shouldn't, get involved. So what it does is it creates like resentments. It creates built up animosity. It's sort of like and again, it's like this. It's like someone who is powerless being controlled by someone who's powerful, even if it's not being done in a bullying type of fashion. Even if it's just someone who's like pushing their weight around, the person who's getting pushed around, doesn't like to get pushed around, for very long, right? Again, just like here in this country, when the founding fathers of this country felt like, it was taxation without representation, what did they do? They rose up against the empire, against the king of England, right? And fought. And we had a war here in this country. We had a revolutionary war. So people will always resist oppression. People will always fight against unrighteousness, and people will always side with the side of righteousness. And there will always be people who will side with the side of unrighteousness as well. And there will always be people who identify who these perpetrators are. So there will be people who will say, hey, America is the bad guy. And then there's people that say, no, America is the good guy. It's us who's going in, making sure that these countries are not getting taken advantage of by other countries. So we can't just stay out of it sometimes. It's our responsibility as a world superpower. So you'll have arguments on both sides, but I'm not here to argue those arguments. That's not what I'm here about. What I want to say is that I just want to bring awareness that there are people out there, for sure, all around the world, and right now, especially here in our country, because of our border freedom, the lacks of our border in the past three years or so, it has allowed for lots of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to cross our borders in the past few years. Literally millions of people have crossed the U.S. southern border in the past few years. Thousands upon thousands, if not millions. I don't want to say the wrong number or get the statistics wrong, but I'm telling you guys, as you all know, I know for sure that tens of thousands per month are pouring in Arizona, Texas, California. All of our southern borders are being infiltrated. And just in this past month, if I'm not mistaken, they caught like 140 terrorists right at the border, known terrorists who are on terrorist watch lists, 140 of them out of the thousands that are coming through the border. Imagine how many people are coming across this border who have ill intentions for the United States and its citizens. Just imagine that. So it's up to us to understand the conditions that we have found ourselves in as citizens of the United States. We can't take for granted that nothing can ever happen to us. We're super protected. Again, guys, this is a great nation. America is the greatest nation on this planet. It has the potential to be the best nation ever, right? However, if we don't as the citizens, if we don't force our leaders to represent us the way that we want to be represented, then we as the citizens face the repercussions of our leaders' choices and decisions. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And so that's why, again, you have these potentials for terror attacks to happen. You have the potential for these, like, it won't happen today. But what'll happen is you'll have 5 years from now, 2 years from now, people who are suffering right now behind things that our American U.S. policies implement. They let's say someone's parents were killed, died, blown up, whatever the case is, or starved to death, whatever the case. That you think that child is going to forget that? Do you think that child is going to come into power and forget what has happened to them? No, they're going to always probably remember and have a level of resentment. And if what has been done wrong is not made right, then there's no option there's no opportunity for safety for anybody, really. There's really no opportunity for safety for anybody if we don't want freedom, justice, and equality for all people all over the planet. Then we are at threat of losing it right here in our very own borders. So just wanted to throw that out there. Hey, what's up? What up, Big Rick? What up, Big Riz? What up? Thanks for checking in. Hey guys, we just having a little discussion. Feel free to jump on in. I've dropped the link inside of the chat, so go ahead and jump on in. But like Big Riz is saying, vengeance can be a powerful motivation, and not only vengeance, but just overall hopelessness. overall hopelessness and the feeling of being oppressed. When someone feels they have nothing to lose but their life at this point, they've already lost everything. There's nothing left. They have nothing. You're putting people in a bad predicament when they're in that type of position. Like I'm telling you, if we don't want freedom, justice, and equality for all people, then freedom, justice, and equality is at risk for all people, because no one is going to have it while others don't have it, or no one is going to have it at the stake of others having it. It cannot work that way. And again, like I don't want to make this like a political, too political of a show topic, but since no one has jumped on with me here, I'm just gonna rattle away and keep talking, guys. But again, guys, I stand for freedom, justice, and equality. I don't take a particular side on anything other than I stand on the side of righteousness, whatever that may be. And I think if more of us started to do that, we would find ourselves in better positions. And if we want it for our brother and our sister, what we want for ourselves, and our brother and sister are all people of humanity, of all colors, of all nationalities, religions, creeds, whatever. We are all brothers and sisters here on this planet, cooperating together, cohabiting this planet together, and we need to work together. We need to make it work together. Everyone does not have to be the same. We don't have to have a world full of one religion, or one dominated religion. We don't have to have a world full of one dominated political views. We don't need to have the whole world being right or the whole world being left. It's good to have a balance. It's good to have a good representation of opinions and ideas. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? Freedom, having the freedom to choose, having the freedom to voice your opinions, and having the right to protect yourselves. So here in this country, we have what's called the Second Amendment rights. And without those Second Amendment rights, most of those freedoms that I just mentioned would be at stake. And excuse me, guys, I just ate dinner, so some of it's burping some of it back up. So excuse me there. But yeah, our we have to consider always. We always got to consider, that if we're not proponents of freedom into us as well. So let me see. Let me take a look here in the comment section. See what we got here. See if we got some folks that want to jump in. And again, you're free to jump right on in. I'm gonna drop that link right here again in the chat, so that you can jump right on in. But yeah, guys. So like I'm saying, I mean, let's consider a scenario. Let's consider a situation. I really want to consider this scenario. Let's consider that you have a family who who owns two houses, and it's on a lot. Let's say we got a big lot, like a big, like 5 acre plot of land, and on that 5 acre plot of land there's two homes, right? And let's say that for whatever reason something drives one of those families. These are brothers, right? One family here is a brother and his wife and children, then the other family is his brother and his wife and children, right? And let's say for whatever reason, one of these brothers has to leave this land. He has to leave, the 5 acres, leave his house, go off wherever he's got to go off to for whatever the reason. While he is there, him and his family, they're treated horribly. They're persecuted. They're hunted down. They're starved. They're tortured. They're trying to exterminate. They're trying to be exterminated, right? So the brother that's back in the homeland says, "Hey, brother, come back home. You can come back home. Come on back home. This is your land too, right?" So brother comes back home, and not just not not he doesn't just come back home because brother invited him back. He comes back home with the assistance of some outsiders, right? Some others who have some of the resources that the family has. This 5 acres of land, there's an oil mine, right? There's an oil well. So there's something that's here that's of value to this outside force. So the outside force actually walks the brother back home across miles and miles and oceans and seas. He's right there beside the brother, walking him back home, right? So when he arrives back home, one brother embraces his other brother. Hold on, who we got here? Darth Guterres. I'm new here. What up, Darth? What up, Darth? What up, Darth? Good to have you here at AGG Nation. Y'all, everyone's welcome. Feel free to jump on in. But again, so back to the story. So one of the brothers, remember, they're welcoming their brothers back, and the other brother is on his way back. He's journeying back home, but he's got a new companion that's helping him get back home, who has an interest in how this new brother reestablished himself back in his own land, right? So now when brother comes back, brothers are united. Brother, hey, how's it going? Embrace, let's hug, let's work together. Great. Your house is still over there. Go get your house. We left it for you. Nobody's touched it. You go get your house. So now, let's say that brother who returns home is not cool with just taking his own house back. He has a different mindset and mentality now, for whatever the reason being. Whatever the reason being, he's not comfortable with coming back home and taking what he once had. Now he feels that, you know what, brother, thank you for welcoming me back. And I know that 2.5 of this 5 acres is mine. But you know what, brother? Because of what I face, because of the things that I've dealt with, I feel like I deserve 4 acres. And you get 1, brother. Not only that, brother, but I'm going to take my house that was once mine, and I'm going to take yours as well. But, brother, I'll give you the bathroom. I'll give you and your family the bathroom. And if you need anything, you can't leave the bathroom. I mean, we're not saying you can leave freely and roam around the 5 acres freely that was once all about. We're not saying that at all. We're saying that you are now regulated to that bathroom. And if you need anything, water, food, resources, what up, OG $2? What up? If you need anything, food, resources, water, whatever, then you get it through us, brother. You get it through us. So I want you guys to follow me on that story there. We had 2 brothers who started out together sharing land, 5 acres. For whatever reason, one brother took his family and they left, went off to a faraway land. They weren't welcome in this faraway land. They were persecuted, tortured, killed, all the horrible things that could happen to a people. The other brother welcomes brother back. Come on back, brother. You don't have to deal with that. When the other brother comes back home, again, he doesn't come alone. He comes with newfound friends. Newfound friends welcome him right up to the border, right up to his border of his house, and say, hey, we're here to make sure you get home safe. So we've got that situation. Now we've got a brother who welcomed brother back home. And now the new brother who's come back home has relegated his brother and his brother's family, his brother's people, to the bathroom of one of the houses. Remember, there used to be 2 houses, but the brother wasn't satisfied with those 2 houses. He wanted both houses, and now everyone's in the bathroom. That's his brother, who he called his brother. Tell me, how would you feel, or how do you think that the people that are that have been now pushed into the bathroom, they used to have all this land, 5 acres, because their brothers had left, but they were willing to share it back, half and half. Here, you take it back here. But now they've got 1 acre and they've got a bathroom when they once had a whole house and 5 acres. Now let's talk about it even further. Let's make it a little more pertinent. They don't have 1 acre any longer. As time goes on, that acre is getting smaller and smaller. So now they've got 1/4 of an acre, and they're still stuck in the bathroom. How long would we expect for a family or brother to live in those conditions before one brother rebels against the other, or rises up, or says, brother, take your foot off of my neck, off of my back. Brother, please allow me a regular life, please, brother. How long would this take? Okay, I can promise you guys, if any of us were put in those positions, it wouldn't take long. So hope that makes sense to everybody, guys. I hope that nice metaphoric parable makes sense to you guys, because again, I'm not here to make anyone feel alienated. I'm not here to bash any nation or anything like that, guys. We as citizens of all nations, we're just that. We are the citizens of these nations. We don't control or govern our nations. We elect governing bodies to do so, and we put confidence and faith in them that they will do so justly and righteously, and represent us the way that we want to be represented. However, if they don't do that, again, then what can we do? So with that being said, guys, again, that's all we're here to talk about is our borders safe? Or is America's borders, have they been compromised? Are we in a predicament right now where we could potentially find ourselves, facing threat in the future because of choices that our leaders have made now, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago? And if so, are we prepared to face that threat here on our borders, here in our country? Because that's the thing about America, is that we have the unique, the unique position to where we have the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, Canada, and in Mexico. These are our borders. We're in a very unique position, so we don't really share borders with enemy nations, or with nations that we're not friendly with, or we don't get along with. So we're not at risk of people invading us all the time, or coming over our borders. And with that being said, let me say one more thing about our borders, guys. There's this issue that controlling our borders is like a humanitarian issue, or something. It's wrong for us to want to control our borders from the people who are coming in through the Mexican border, through the Mexican side of the border. Well, let me tell you guys something. Mexico controls its border. Its neighbor is Guatemala. Mexico doesn't let Guatemalans come freely into Mexico. It's the same thing. We have become so privileged here in our country that we don't understand what it takes to secure our freedoms. Aren't free. Freedom is never free. So if we don't understand what it takes to maintain our freedoms, guys, it's going to be at risk of us losing it, because we've taken it for granted. We've taken it for granted. We think that it's some magical like defense force that's out there is going to protect America no matter what the case is. Guys, we have to be mindful of, again, what America is pulling ourselves into. Hold on, let's see. Blue Knight made a comment. He says, our borders have been compromised since Biden has been in office. Facts, 100% facts. I agree with you 100%. And that's what we're talking about here today, Blue Knight, is that, our borders have been compromised so much that we have the potential right now to have so many armed groups right here hunkering down in our forests, in our national forests, in our national parks, in our jungles and our deserts, who are listen, this is happening for sure. This isn't a conspiracy. This is for surely happening. I'm not too big on spreading conspiracy theories now. This has nothing at all to do with these conflicts. But right now in California, people who live in California, especially Northern California or Southern California, they I'm sure they've heard these stories. But the cartels control a lot of the wilderness out there in California. A lot of those fires that was going on in California, a lot of that stuff was started by people battling with each other over who's going to control crops and whatnot, and control the marijuana crop that's out there. So guys, if cartels can get a stronghold in a state such as California, and have where they're actually controlling communities and environments, and locals are not going there, and they're killing people, then we need to understand that could happen anywhere. It can happen anywhere. OG $2 also says, been compromised way before Biden. I would agree with you there as well. I would agree with you there 100%. Our borders have not been at the forefront of our leaders' minds for quite some time. And again, it's because of this mindset that if we have a secure border, or if we secure our borders, or if we have a strong stance on having a strong border, that it makes us racist, or makes America a racist nation, or how dare we be racist? And how dare you as Black people or as Mexican people say you want your borders, controlled or secured? That's what white people want. Listen, guys, we have to get out of these propaganda. It's propaganda that's been given to us to divide us as a people. We all are suffering the same, guys. There's not really a lot of differences between the Black and white or Hispanic or Asian level of suffering. If what happens is this: when we find ourselves how much money do you have? Your class, upper class, lower class, are you middle class? When you find yourself, when you open your eyes today, you find out that America is more about classism than it is about racism today. So, with that being said, most of us are in the same class, guys. The powers that be have tried to, in the past few years, past 5 years or so, 4 years or especially, eliminate the middle class in America. The middle class in America is shrinking. It's either you're the haves or you're the have-nots, or you're the have-nots pretending to be the haves. One or the other, one of the three. You're one of the three. That's where we are here in America, and it's unfortunate, man. Hard to find families make a year having a hard time making me, and you may see yourself living above their means. No, brothers and sisters, it's not because people are living above their means. It's because people don't want to go live in. There we go. We're back. All right. So people don't want to go live in a lower economic conditions so that they can save $100, $200 on rent, but their state of mind, their peace of mind has been completely lost. It does not make sense. And just because you can't afford to live in upper class neighborhoods or communities does not mean that you don't deserve safety also. So let's make sure that's clear as well. Just because you live in a lower economic community or environment, whether it's what's called the projects, the ghetto, trailer park. Again, this is not racial. It affects all races of people, and we know this because we've seen poverty in all segments of society. So what I'm explaining is that if we are in these conditions and we're all suffering the same, then we have to unite and just get under one banner, guys. We've got to stop the bickering and bantering amongst each other. We've got to stop fighting because he's got 12 bucks and we got 10. Like, we've got to figure out how to come together, use our resources together to make his 12 and my 10 to make it $100. How can we use what we have to maximize and to grow? We don't have to hoard. We don't have to have so much fear of our brother and our sister. And that's really what I've seen develop. Tonight is Halloween. Me and my family went out to trick or treat, and we didn't get to do it last year because it rained. And the past couple of years, it's been just weird things that have taken place that wouldn't allow for it. But man, when I was growing up, we were trick or treating, rain, sleet, snow, thunderstorm. It don't matter. We were going to trick or treat. And tonight, guys, like it felt good to go out and trick or treat and see kids out in the community from 5, 6, 7 years old up to 16, 17 year olds. We're out there trick or treating, dressed up in costumes, smiling, running around, having a good time. That's the America that I love, guys. That's the America that I joined the military fresh out of high school, gave up sports scholarships to defend. Was this kind of a nation, was to keep our rights available, to keep us free, to so that we could be able to walk down the streets of our community. There we go. Keep losing our connection. So, guys, I won't keep you too much longer here. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. I didn't get my guest to join me tonight. I don't think he might have known that this is kind of impromptu. It's Halloween tonight, and he's in Texas, so he's an hour behind. So again, like I say, I'm sure him and his family are out enjoying the festivities as well. So, guys, whether you are a Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, um, non-religion, a Jewish, whatever you are, guys, when you come to a country like America, don't punish yourself and tell yourself stuff like, I'm not going to participate in that stuff. That's a Christian thing, or that's a Muslim thing, or that's a pagan thing. Or, guys, just try to find the good in things. try to find the good in things. There's enough things out here that's trying to limit our joy and our peace and keep us afraid and keep us fearful and to keep us on our toes all the time. It's enough of that out there already, guys. So fight through that. Look past the threats. Be safe. I'm not saying go out there and not be safe, but guys, enjoy life. This is the one life that we have to enjoy. Remember, want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself. So, guys, that's it. Unless anyone has any questions for me, that's it. Quick little session today, again, to talk about our borders. Are our borders safe? Have America's borders been compromised? And are we prepared for any type of a civil of any type of threats here in our homeland? Are we prepared for that, even on the smallest of levels? Because again, remind yourselves what happened just recently with the situation with the tragedy in Maine. What happened? What up? What up? Too many choices. What up? What up? What up, my guy? So ask ourselves what happened and how do we address it? How would you address it if that happened in your community? Like OG $2, he lives near me. We don't live far from each other. We are in the Atlanta metro area, right? So let's say something like that happened out here. I can promise you and tell you that a lot of people would definitely be willing, ready, and able to take action and to spring into action to either find this guy or to do what needs to be done. So, guys, that's all I got to say. Go out there, guys. Be a part of your community. Be a part of the solution. Don't just be a complainer. Don't be somebody who complains and points out all the problems, all the issues. Keep training, guys. Go to the gun range. Get you some training in. Learn your weapons. Are you better with rifles? Or are you better with the handgun? What's your comfort zone? Whatever it is, train and get better. Whatever you're not good at, train double on that so that you can become proficient enough to make sure that you don't find yourself in a bad predicament. So, all right, guys, that's it. Again, like I say, thanks for joining me tonight. Won't hold you up too much. Not going to take too much of your time tonight. Thank you again for joining. Thank you for the support. Thanks for always tuning in. Oh, my man Bubba joined me. Man, what's up, Bubba? You always are welcome on my show, man. Like I say, you always are welcome to chime in. Indeed. We definitely need to train. And again, I always want to say this, man. Never like find yourself in a predicament where you're shaming yourself or where you're shaming others who aren't as equipped as you think you should be, or they're not as equipped as you think they should be. We all have room for growth. We all All right, there we go. Lost connection. Just got back. All right, so there we go. Like again, we can all learn from each other, guys. We can all grow. So there's no big gun guys and little gun guys. Like again, that's why I call myself the average gun guy. Regardless of my military training, regardless of my training, regardless of any of that, I don't posture to be a commando because that's not what I was. Yes, I was in combat communications in the military. I played a combat role, but I will not pretend that the many of years that I've been out of the military that now I'm still an expert at all of these different areas. I am not. So what do? I learn from guys like my man Bubba and my man Too Many Choices and OG $2 and Blue Knight and Darth Gutierrez. That's who I learn from, guys. We share with each other. We are a brotherhood. We share and learn from each other. We have each other's backs. We learn how to you getting your ammo from this place? Here, let me show you where I'm getting my ammo. Why? Because I'm paying $200 less than you're paying, for some quality ammo. Where are you getting your gear from? Here, I'm getting it from here. All that good stuff, man. That's what we got to do for each other, guys. We have to share. We have to share with each other, guys. We have to share. All right, guys. So, like I say, until next Tuesday, guys. Till next week, I'll be here every Tuesday unless there's something that comes up to prevent it. Last Tuesday, we had some family things come up. And this week, we almost missed it because of Halloween. But I was like, man, I can't leave my audience hanging because they won't know when to join me. They're not going to know what day to come on or when I'm going live. So if I want consistency, I got to be consistent. So, guys, just like I hold you accountable, hold me accountable. That's how we become excellent. Start still, sharpen steel. So with that being said, guys, salute to everyone who has joined the show tonight. Salute. Please keep taking care of yourselves. Keep taking care of your family. Stay safe, stay training, and stay free.